Clay Patent Press presents Defiance County's Trusted Source, a short story by Callie J. Smith, narrated by the author. Chapter 1. The Circle K clerk tossed a message onto the counter. Terra glanced down. Someone had penned her name on the folded paper. She frowned, already knowing what it was. Shoving the paper into her jeans pocket, she picked up her pail and left. "Repent, for the end is near!" A slight, sandy-haired man stood shouting on the curb out front. "Hey, Charlie," Terra waved. She actually had no idea what his name was, but felt the need to call him something. He'd become a fixture there. The man might have been 30-something like her, but he watched Terra with hazel puppy dog eyes that reminded her of the younger brother she hadn't seen in years. "The end is near!" He doesn't even realize the world already ended, Terra thought. She set her plastic pail on the ground a few feet away. The world ended and left behind a land seeping insanity-causing toxins that claimed more people with each passing day. For all Terra knew, that could be her in a few months, a prophet perched on a crumbling curb and shouting nonsense. Or it could be her brother, wherever he was. Guilt stabbed her all over again at the thought of the brother she hadn't followed. But this was post-purchase life, every person for themselves. When the transnational companies purchased most states and provinces in the Americas, few people had expected it to go well. And it hadn't. The environmental impact had reached catastrophic levels when the companies went bankrupt. Families broke up as people dispersed to support themselves however they could. 30 years later, it was still every person for themselves. Terra knew that. Her brother Charlie knew it too when he took the job that kept him traveling. She had her work here, and he shouldn't have expected her to follow him, but he had. Shaking herself from the thoughts, Terra crouched and pretended to tighten her shoelaces while glancing around to make sure no one watched. She had to be careful. Soft hearts got people in trouble. Unsnapping the pail lid, Terra pulled out a freeze-dried meat packet and tossed it at the feet of the prophet she called Charlie. He glanced down at it and then up at her. She snapped the lid quickly back into place and hurried off, picking her way across the cement chunks of an old sidewalk. Terra took a roundabout way home, enjoying the sun of an early summer day. She'd known it would be pleasant. It was her business to know. She'd worked hard to become one of the most sought-after weatherwomen in the Midwest. Technology had deteriorated enough in the last 30 years that certain human bodies like hers made vastly more accurate weather predictions than any remaining tech could. And so, each week one of these nutrition-dense meal pails waited for her at the convenience store, dropped off by the shipping company that paid her in food for her forecasts. Others left her messages there too, seeking her services. Terra accepted some of the jobs, but not all. Certainly not ones like the message she'd shoved into her pocket. Someone named Donovan wanted to recruit her for a gig she wanted nothing to do with. This was his fourth message. Each message had proposed paying her an even higher ration stipend. But no one wanted to go near those pre-purchased data centers where he wanted his forecasts done. She'd declined his first 2 notes, hadn't answered the third, and didn't plan to answer the fourth either. Eventually, Terra approached the campus, an old quadrangle where she lived. Everyone who made their homes there knew she'd installed deadbolts on her door and carried a knife in her pocket. It made a difference. Though a small woman with short, mousy brown hair who'd intimidate no one, Terra had built a reputation that let her make it home each week with no challenges to her possession of these coveted meal pails. Skirting the inside of the quad, Terra climbed a corner stairwell. On the second-floor landing, she turned and came up short, face to face with someone. She lurched back. Charlie, the prophet, stood there studying her. Terra screamed. He grabbed her, spinning her around to clamp a hand over her mouth from behind. "Shh!" he hissed as he dragged her backward. Terra squirmed. Her mind raced. He must have followed her home before to beat her here now. She'd been careless. She bit down on Charlie's hand hard. "Ouch!" She kicked her heels into his shins. "Hold still! Let go! I will if you'll be quiet." "Yeah, right." Terra jabbed her elbows into his chest. He dropped her and stumbled back. She whipped around, took him to the ground, and pressed her pocket knife against his throat. "What do you want?" Charlie's hazel eyes went wide. He gulped. "To talk." "Then why'd you grab me? You screamed. What was I supposed to do?" Terra straightened, withdrawing her knife. Realistically, she didn't imagine the frail man posed a threat. She stood slowly, letting him scramble to his feet as she took 2 steps back, bumping into the heavy wooden door of her room. She slid her key into the lock by feel, keeping her eyes on Charlie. He didn't step any closer, though. When the door swung open, Terra crouched and reached for the pail. "Stay," she told Charlie, dragging the pail along the cement floor and safely into her room. Charlie glanced over Terra's shoulder. She saw the moment he noticed the transmitter receiver. The device sat on a crate by her nylon sleeping bag. "The shipping company?" he asked, sounding oddly sane. Terra narrowed her eyes. "They want forecasts that quickly?" Terra shrugged. Transmitters and receivers weren't common. Too expensive. Charlie licked his lips. "Have you noticed anything odd these last few years?" "Odd?" He shrugged. "Transmissions. Have you run across—" "No!" Terra shook her head firmly. "They've got policies. Personal use of company tech, and you're canned." "I don't mean personal use. I just mean—" "No!" Charlie sighed, glancing back to the device. "I suppose they provide you batteries, too." At first, Terra didn't answer. The man acted downright lucid now. She didn't trust the change or his obvious interest in the device. "Yeah?" Charlie shook his head, sandy curls bouncing. "No wonder you can afford to turn down other clients." Terra froze. Charlie's mouth quirked up. "I'm Donovan." Terra grabbed for the door, but Charlie, or Donovan, lunged forward to lodge a heavy work boot between the door and the doorframe. Terra kicked at the boot. Donovan grunted. "Leave!" He didn't move his boot, but he did pull a leather messenger bag over his shoulder and drop it just inside her door. "Food rations." He nodded at the bag. "They're yours if you let me tell you about my research. Give me half an hour." She eyed him and then the bag. "Why'd you let me give you rations? And why the end time stuff?" "Will you listen?" Terra gave the bag one more glance. Only a fool would turn down food. There was never enough. And Donovan clearly wasn't budging. "Fine." Terra didn't open the door any wider. Donovan didn't remove his boot. "Thanks. And I was yelling about the end times because people give the insane a wide berth. I wanted to watch the weather women getting their messages without anyone bothering me." "But why bother me?" He gave a lopsided smile. "You gave me food. You obviously care." Terra gaped at him. What kind of person smiled at strangers? "I do not." "You do." "I don't." At least she hadn't meant to, but she kept feeling these urges to help people. It was something she couldn't do for her brother. She still had no idea where the shipping company was sending him. He wouldn't get her word for half a year at a time. She'd mostly gotten used to it, but sometimes it still got to her, and she'd go off and do stuff, like feeding curbside prophets. Donovan's expression fell. "Well, I thought you'd be interested in what I'm doing." "Half an hour. It's already started." "Fine. I need on-site predictions." He talked fast. "I want to be as far as possible from the data center before any storms come." Terra nodded as he explained. Everyone knew toxins leaching from those data center ruins were bad on dry days. Storms intensified the release. "You have a 24-hour prediction horizon?" Donovan asked. "Yeah." "Good. I'll pay you whatever you want for site-specific predictions from the Defiance County data center. It's—" "Defiance County?" "Yes." "That's not far." Terra watched Donovan's face for something to tell her more than his words had. His words didn't make sense. And for the briefest moment, she was standing with her brother as he told her about his new gig making transnational deliveries for the shipping company. Terra had often suspected her brother Charlie's enthusiasm outstripped his reason, and she certainly doubted the shipping company paid enough for delivery work to make it worth Charlie's while to leave. She hadn't understood why he'd felt the need to leave or what he was looking for. She wondered if he even knew himself. Terra forced her mind back to the present. "By my predictions from here," she told Donovan, "we're close enough to the Defiance County line." Donovan shook his head. "I want as much on-site time as possible. I'll pay for accuracy." Terra narrowed her eyes. What wasn't he telling her? "I'm researching the causes of the insanity," he said. Terra huffed. "There's no money in cleaning up toxins." The skin by Donovan's eyes tightened. "It's not about money. I already have funding, and it's more complicated than toxins." Terra held his gaze. She'd been wrong. This felt nothing like talking with her brother. Donovan knew exactly what he wanted, and he wasn't telling her the half of it. That much was clear. She'd have turned him on his way if she hadn't seen her brother's earnest eyes gazing back at her. Earnestness didn't get people very far in post-purchase life. She found herself worrying about the slight, endearingly eager man before her. One way or another, he would need help. "Fine." She couldn't believe she was agreeing. "How do we travel?" "Bike." She nodded. Her backpack could carry the transmitter, and the shipping company wouldn't think twice about predictions from the county line. "I'll give you 3 days," she said, hoping he'd decline due to the limited time frame. He didn't. The fool even smiled at her again. "Leave tomorrow at sunrise?" Chapter 2. Terra felt pressure in her head as she woke. She hadn't slept well, too tense to relax with a strange person nearby, and too uncomfortable with the approaching weather front. On mornings like these, it felt like every injury she'd ever had pulsed with pain. Peeking over the top of her sleeping bag, Terra saw the sky had lightened to a dull gray in the east. She sat up and twisted herself in a stretch. They'd only had half a day to search when they arrived the day before. Donovan had wandered around the old data center compound but hadn't found whatever he was searching for. Terra's heart sank now at that thought. He'd hoped for more time, but her headache told her he wouldn't get it. Donovan groaned from the other side of the bikes. He sat up too and cracked his neck. First full day. It's all you have left. Hazel eyes found hers through the tire spokes. How long? 22 hours. Damn. Donovan looked away. Terra followed his gaze. A 20-foot concrete wall still circled the data center in most places, but from this distance the wall looked tiny. Everything looked tiny. Even the central building lay low to the ground. Donovan rose to his knees and pulled on a sweatshirt. He packed his backpack and then stood, slipping it over his shoulder. You can go home, he told Terra. I'll send the rest of your payment by end of week. He stalked away. Terra watched him a moment, surprised by her own disappointment. Hey, she called out. You never told me what's causing the insanity. There's some tech still working, he called over his shoulder, not stopping. Terra watched until his figure became a distant silhouette against the swaying prairie grass. She hadn't expected to find anything green this close to a data center. Occasionally, life betrayed more resilience than Terra gave it credit for. She sat with the sleeping bag around her shoulders as the sun rose. Donovan's cryptic explanation played through her mind. He hadn't answered her question. When she stood, her body ached worse. She should have guided her bike to the road and headed home. A voice in her head told her smart people minded their own business. But something in her rebelled at the idea of leaving. She kept wondering what Donovan was doing. He looked too much like her brother. That was all there was to it. Huffing out of breath, Terra hoisted the backpack onto her shoulders and clomped through the damp grass after Donovan. Clang! Clang! She followed the sound of metal on metal from the compound's main building. Eventually, Donovan's curses joined the clanging. Terra turned a corner and found him kicking a gunmetal gray cabinet. The cabinet didn't move, but Donovan yelped, hopping on one foot as he clutched the other. What are you doing? Terra called. Donovan leaned back against the cabinet, hugging one foot. I'm being completely useless is what I'm doing. Terra reached him and stopped, assessing the cabinet. This one's still working? Yes. Why? Terra wandered down their aisle and up the next to look at the cabinet's backside. I have no idea. I thought there must be batteries or a generator I could remove. Donovan raised his voice as he lost sight of Terra. But the battery terminals are empty and any generators are gone. Terra saw nothing of interest and returned to Donovan. Then where's the juice coming from? I don't know. Terra drew back. Don't get cranky. Never mind. Donovan stomped over to his backpack and crouched to rummage through it. Terra watched, curious about this temper she hadn't seen in him before. Well, she tried again. What's it doing? Donovan pitched something Terra's way. She ducked. The projectile pinged off another cabinet behind her. Were you trying to hit me? Just look at it. Terra backed up and reached down, not taking her eyes off Donovan. A quick look at the thing in her hand told her it was meant to look like an antique wristwatch. What is it? A receiver. Beads of sweat broke out on Donovan's forehead as he worked on something in his backpack. Processes a range of signals. Terra glanced back down at the device. The watch face remained intact, and black lettering ran across the little white screen reading, Defiance County's trusted source for business news. Follow us. The text stopped there. Then it repeated. The same words played over and over on some sort of loop. You do have funding, she mused. The shipping company had more, of course. They'd issued Terra a full-sized transmitter-receiver. But an intact and well-functioning receiver wasn't cheap. But words on a screen aren't causing any trouble. Most people don't. They're not words on a screen. Donovan's hands moved inside the backpack. Pre-purchase companies developed data signals that humans could hear even without receivers. But I don't. Subconsciously. Terra closed her mouth, thinking. She hadn't heard of that before. So? So, the words follow us are what they used to call a CTA, a call to action. This one's stuck on loop. That message is transmitting over and over. Some people are more susceptible than others. But the bottom line is, the CTA from some defunct business is creating a sense of urgency that people have no idea how to act on. They search desperately and don't even know what they're looking for. Tara's mind darted to her brother. "That," Donovan finished, "is your insanity." Was this Charlie's motivation? Tara bit her lip. "What makes you so sure?" Donovan's hands hesitated over the bag. "I hear it." "But you said it was subconscious." "For most people, not me." Donovan drew his hands out of the bag. Tara's heart thumped at the mess of tubes and fuses. "No bombs!" Donovan glared at her. "Got a better idea?" Tara grabbed at the tubes. "Give me that!" Donovan held the bomb just out of her grasp. "You'll stir up even more chemicals," she yelled, climbing up Donovan's back to reach over his shoulders. Her headache throbbed even worse, but she didn't stop. "Get off!" Donovan tried to unhook her arms. Tara wrapped her arms around him even tighter. "Give me 1 hour." He stopped grabbing at her. "For what?" "To try something." "What?" She had no idea, but wouldn't admit that. "Give me the bomb and I'll tell you." For a beat, Donovan didn't move. Then he huffed. "I'll put it down." "Promise?" "Get off my back." Tara let go and slid down his back. Her feet hit the uneven concrete beneath them, and her hip caught. Damn inflammation, she thought. Her sensitivity to weather patterns might earn her a good living, but it wreaked havoc on her body. Donovan stalked to his backpack, gingerly setting down the tubes and wires. Then he rounded on Tara. Tara, however, took her time getting her hip moving again. She needed to think through their options. Finally, she straightened. "What's your idea?" he demanded. A thought had struck her. She pointed at the cabinet. "A transmitter?" "Among other things." "Is there a control panel?" "I already fiddled with it." "Can I see?" Donovan rolled his eyes, but complied. Tara moved closer and let him show her what he'd done. "Why can't we record over the loop?" she asked. Donovan stared at her. "Did you try that?" "No," he said slowly, "but the connections might be corroded." Pause. "There's no reason to think it would work." "We won't know till we try." She pulled away more panels, studying the consoles. Then she pressed a button. She pressed a few more buttons. Putting a finger to her lips for Donovan's sake, she pressed one more button, hoping against hope it would record. And they waited. After a couple minutes, Tara jabbed the button again. "Well?" Donovan watched her face. Tara looked around for the receiver. "Where's the watch?" She'd had it in her hand when she hopped onto Donovan's back, and "Here." Donovan strode a few feet away to where the watch sat on the ground. Tara hurried over. The screen was blank. They watched. It remained blank. They kept watching to be sure. "Did we do enough?" Tara whispered. She felt her headache pounding as she watched the screen. A voice in her head asked who she was trying to fool. Of course, her bit of knowledge wouldn't be enough to deal with a problem this big. But Donovan leaned back against the nearest cabinet and closed his eyes. "It's enough." "Are you sure?" He released a sigh. "Don't you feel better?" Tara didn't know, but she recognized the visceral relief in him. Muscles around his mouth relaxed. A smile ghosted his lips. She focused so entirely on Donovan's transformation that she didn't notice the person stepping into their aisle until a bullet pinged against the cabinet. Tara staggered back. "Shit!" Donovan grabbed her, shoving her toward a break in the cabinets. Another bullet pinged off the cabinet near her shoulder. Tara stumbled through the narrow opening and out into the next aisle. Donovan pushed out behind her and grabbed her hand, dragging her to the left. Then he pulled her right, through a passage, and then left again up an aisle. She saw no pattern to their path, but didn't care. Her joints raged at the impact of running on concrete flooring, but the sound of boots stomping behind them kept her moving. "Who is it?" she whispered. "Don't know." "Someone following you?" No clue. They turned again. An exit loomed before them. Its door gone, the doorway stood open to the elements. Tara gasped in relief at the sight. An expanse of dirt and prairie grass beyond looked close enough to touch, and the prairie grass would give them decent cover too. But Tara's hip caught, and she stumbled. Her momentum and the transmitter-laden backpack kept her off balance. She fell, skidding across the concrete floor. "Tara! Run!" she yelled at Donovan, hoping he could still make it even though she heard the stomp of boots getting closer. Her palms and knees screamed with enough pain that they must have bled. Scrambling to her hands and knees as fast as she could, she braced herself for the impact of a bullet from behind. She didn't expect the arms coming around her from the front. Donovan hefted her to her feet. Not having time to reach the exit, he dragged her behind a nearby metal desk. They dropped to the dusty ground, gulping for air. "Why didn't you run?" Tara hissed. "Not without you." "But you came back for me." Dumbfounded, Tara shifted to stare at Donovan. "Shh!" Boots approached. They hunkered down, waiting. Chapter 3. "Those were warning shots," called a man's voice. Terra frowned. The voice sounded familiar. She pressed her palms into the sandy, deteriorating concrete, bracing herself to crane her neck around the edge of the desk. Donovan snatched her back quickly. "I hear you," called the man. "I'll let you go if you walk out that door and don't come back. I'll kill you if I find you here again." Terra barely heard his words, too absorbed in the sound of the man's voice. Gravelly enough to come from a smoker's throat, it was too deep to belong to the person it reminded her of, and yet... "Did you hear me?" the man demanded. Terra's hands fisted. "Charlie David Maina!" She hefted herself to her feet with the aid of the desk and faced the man. "What the hell are you doing here?" "Terra?" The man broke into a grin. He took a step toward her, the hand without a gun reaching out. Terra rounded the desk and stalked up to her younger brother. Almost tall enough to stand nose to nose with him, she jabbed her finger into his pea-green cotton polyester blend uniform with the shipping company logo. He took a step back. "Sis, Were you even going to let me know you were in town?" she demanded. "Could you not be bothered to visit?" She slapped him hard on the shoulder. "Ouch!" She slapped his arm again and again. The third time he grabbed her wrist. "Stop it! Look, sis, I've been busy." "Bullshit. I have a job." "So do I. Several, but I can still be a decent human being." Charlie's expression shuddered. He let go of her wrist. "Could have fooled me." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you were too busy making a name for yourself to keep our family together and come with me." "We couldn't have both lived on your pay." Terra saw his jaw set and realized she'd said the wrong thing, but the anger twisting in her chest wouldn't let her care. "And what are you even doing here? I thought you were making cross-country deliveries." Charlie smirked. "Promotion?" Terra crossed her arms but felt her expression soften, pride stirring. "Yeah?" "Yeah, not much money in deliveries, but this," he waved his hand at the ruins around them, "is something else." Terra saw the enthusiastic crease of skin by her brother's hazel eyes. Charlie broke into that eager grin she hadn't seen in years. She barely resisted the urge to hug him. Charlie, however, strode over to the desk. Donovan backed all the way to the wall, but Charlie ignored the other man, putting down his gun and unslinging a pack from his shoulder. He unzipped the pack and pulled out a tiny metal disc which he held up between his thumb and forefinger. "Magnetic chargers." He turned the little disc around as he walked back to Terra. "These puppies charge anything. Even if battery terminals are corroded, just stick these suckers on the side." His eyes found hers, daring her not to act impressed. She was impressed, but a dawning realization focused her on something else. "You've been charging transmitters?" Her brother winked. "That's where the money is." "But why?" He shrugged. "Guess the shipping company wants some noise." "Charlie, you don't know what you're doing." Her brother's grin disappeared. "I'm earning a living is what I'm doing." From the corner of her eye, Terra noticed Donovan creeping closer to the desk, but she couldn't bother with him just then. She focused on Charlie. "You're helping them mess with people's minds. These transmitters are causing the insanity." Charlie screwed up his face like she'd said something ridiculous. "I'm serious, Charlie. Even you might feel better if this stuff," Terra waved her hand over his shoulder, "powered down." "You just don't like me making more money than you." Terra's mouth dropped open. Then she remembered. She'd had several reasons for not following Charlie. This defensiveness was another one of them. "She's right," Donovan called. He stood behind the desk with his arms crossed over his chest. "You should both come with me. Any transmissions we stop will reduce the insanity." Charlie snorted again. "You can't pay her enough, bro. She has a reputation to build here." Terra winced at the explanation she'd given Charlie all those years ago for why she needed to stay. It didn't sound good the way he said it. She took a deep breath. "I'm going with Donovan. We need to help the people we can. And I want to work with someone who won't run off without me." But she didn't say that last part. She tried not to blame Charlie for leaving. She'd throw her lot in with Donovan even if only to get a chance to help people like Charlie. "I'll resign from the shipping company tomorrow. You should too. Come with us." She watched, wishing to catch a glimpse of Charlie's curiosity and enthusiasm turning to this project. "You're resigning alone," he said without energy or enthusiasm. "And I'll be watching. If you mess with any of these places again, You'll do nothing," said Donovan. Charlie's eyes went over Terra's shoulder. Terra turned. Donovan had leaned forward, the tops of his thighs pressing against the desktop edge, one hand toying with the nylon fabric of Charlie's pack. Her brother chuckled. "I'll do something all right." "You won't." Donovan lifted a slim rectangular device from Charlie's pack. It had the shipping company logo emblazoned on one side. "Haven't you heard of passcodes?" Charlie stared at Donovan, narrowing his eyes. Fail to add a passcode, Donovan observed, and anybody can get into your device and look around. Charlie's hand darted out. Give that back. You really should do more to hide these messages about your side hustles. Donovan continued as if Charlie hadn't even spoken, but every time Charlie moved, Donovan moved to keep the heavy metal desk between them. You've got messages on here about security guard gigs, hush money payments, jobs with FedEx. Isn't FedEx a competitor of your shipping company? Terra's mouth dropped open. Or did I misunderstand your sister? Donovan asked. I thought she said the shipping company had a strict policy against personal use of company tech. Grounds for immediate dismissal. Donovan raised his eyebrows. When Charlie said nothing, Donovan tapped his finger on the device screen. You've been busy, Charlie, and a lot of this isn't company business. Terra's eyes shot back to Charlie. His jaw clenched. You're welcome to join us, Donovan said, and help power down transmitters. I'll pay you for it. But even if you don't join us, Donovan picked up Charlie's gun and stashed it into Charlie's pack. You won't be interfering with our work. Donovan stashed Charlie's device into the pack as well and slung it all over his shoulder. Give that back! Charlie rushed to the desk. Terra put herself between Charlie and the desk. Only then did a strange new thought hit her. For the first time, she felt no guilt about disappointing her brother. I will give back your stuff, Donovan told Charlie. You can pick this up in 2 days' time at the Circle K near your sister's place. But I'll have cloned this device and placed a copy of it with a friend. If either Terra or I don't check in with him regularly, he'll turn in a copy of your device to the shipping company. When they see everything you've done with this device, you won't have any job, Charlie. Charlie stared. That's low. Donovan shrugged. His expression softened when he turned to Terra. He looked at her with those puppy dog eyes again, but these eyes knew what they were looking for. And Terra knew a little better now what she was looking for, too. You're under no obligation to come with me, Donovan told her quietly. I'm in, Terra said. Then she bit her lip. I mean, I'm in for as long as you need me. Donovan gave her one of his lopsided smiles. Oh, I'll need you. Then he grabbed her hand. Come on. He tugged her out the door. They hurried into the tall grasses, already reclaiming the Defiance County Data Center, their retreat hidden from view. They didn't stop running until they reached their bikes. Donovan paused only long enough to give Terra a quick smile. This time, Terra smiled back. You've been listening to Defiance County's Trusted Source, a short story by Callie J. Smith. Defiance County's Trusted Source first appeared in Survival, a Dragon Soul Press anthology. Defiance County's Trusted Source, a short story, has been a Clay Patent Press production. Copyright 2026 by Callie J. Smith, all rights reserved. Production copyright 2026 by Clay Patent Press, all rights reserved. Narrated and produced by the author. Thank you for listening. The end.